Chicago teachers just voted 98% to authorize the first charter school strike in U.S. history. Sorry about the margins here. Here, let me see how that's looking. That's all right. It's not the greatest, but we can deal. On Tuesday, teachers at 15 Chicago charter schools voted 98% to authorize a strike as they continue to bargain with a contract with Acero Schools, the largest unionized charter network in the city. On Friday, 4 locations of the Chicago International Charter Schools will take a strike authorization vote, and teachers at 9 other Chicago charter networks are also in contract negotiations and could similarly opt to take strike votes in the coming month. If no agreement is reached, Chicago could be home to the nation's first ever charter strike. Teachers have been inching closer to this possibility for the past 2 years, during which time 11th hour deals have narrowly averted strikes against at least 3 other charter operators. That's a stunning reversal from 2012, when Chicago charter operators bragged that unlike unionized public schools, charters were unaffected by teacher strikes. Since then, Chicago has become the epicenter of charter union organizing in the country. Yeah, I mean, obviously I support teachers and I support strikes. I'm not a fan of charter schools, but I understand that they're there. I understand they're not going anywhere. I understand that there's certain complexities within that issue because there are art schools and stuff like that have been operating, doing their thing for a long time that are technically charter. So I don't want to get into, I don't want to get into that overarching issue right now for the sake of this article and focus more on the strike. But, I am acknowledging that it is charter schools. But regardless, I, of course, support the teachers and I support the strike. And I think that this is a good thing. And it's showing that even when you rock into the privatization realm, employees are still standing up for their rights. And that's important and it needs to continue. And when it comes to strikes, you know where I'm at. I think we need a massive strike. I understand that's easier said than done. I understand it doesn't pertain to me. That's why I'm saying I want to do what I can by being a communication vessel for everybody involved. That's a part I could play, and I want to do it. So, but I understand for any individual in the country, the idea of organizing a massive strike is huge. I mean, how do you do it? How do you start? I mean, but people are doing it. And I think that's huge and it needs to continue. Because I think that's the only way we're going to see the change we need to see in this country. We are at a moment of crisis. We just are. I mean, there's no getting around. What's going on right now is a point of crisis. And it's been a long time coming. It didn't start with Trump. Trump's the result. This is the result of our system. This is the result of 40 years of broken neoliberalism. Or not broken, it's neoliberalism. But it's just a thing that is broken for everybody by nature. So we're at a point of crisis, and when you reach a point of crisis, a status quo needs to shift, and radically so. And we're not going to get any of that kind of change unless we, the people, have a movement so big it can't be ignored. That's how we got the New Deal the first time. We got the New Deal because labor was too loud and big to ignore. Because other parties in the U.S. at the time were too loud and big to ignore. Communist parties, socialist parties. We don't have that infrastructure the way we did before. And that's the kind of disturbing part, and that's what we need to regain. And I think it's slowly starting to happen, and that's a good thing. The issue is I don't think time's necessarily on our side. We can't dick around until 2024. We really can't. It's time for a sharp turn. So I support these teachers all the way. I hope they're successful in their strike and they get what they want. And that's the only way we're going to see real change in this country. I truly do believe. And then, of course, that's going to bleed over onto the electoral level. But the change we need in this country, I firmly believe, is not going to happen by just casting a vote in a voting booth. These midterms are very important, don't get me wrong, and there's some issues I'm really excited about on my ballot here in California. We're going to be talking more about, the ballots as election day gets closer. But it's got to take more than that. It's got to take social movements. It's got to take it.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your